So fetch.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaiya, and today I'm going to be reviewing Acid Bath's record, When the Kite String Pops. I'm really excited to review this record. Now, I do have my entire album reaction and deep dive up on my Patreon for $5. It's almost a 2-hour reaction. This is a long album, so we listened to all the tracks, dived right in, talked about a lot of different stuff. So I personally think it's well worth your money if you're interested in this Acid Bath reaction. Go check it out on Patreon. I did not feel comfortable posting it on YouTube because of Rotten Records, but regardless of all of that, I'm here to give YouTube a album review just for Acid Bath to be on the channel. So they will be officially on the channel with this review. So without further ado, let's get into it. So if you are not familiar with Acid Bath, they are an American sludge metal band that is considered an underground classic. The record that I listened to was When the Kite String Pops. This was their debut record, which was released August 8th of 1994 via Rotten Records. The band's from Louisiana, United States, and you can definitely hear that influence in this record. I have never heard a record as unique as this on the channel. When the Kite String Pops is one of the most unique records I've had on this channel. It doesn't conform to any specific genre. Even though they are labeled as sludge metal, I think that's just incorrect. I don't think that Acid Bath is sludge metal. I think we just have to generally label them as like alternative metal at this point because their sound is so unique and it doesn't conform to any specific genre of metal. I think the biggest musical similarity that I can compare Acid Bath's sound to is Tool. 100%, that is absolutely what I heard with this record, just to kind of start it out with, and I think that's really just because of the decade that this record was released in. Early 90s, you've got the teenage angst, the grunge. It's similar to the same vibes you get with Nirvana, Tool, and Rage Against the Machine. It's absolutely 100% like similar to Tool, which makes sense because they came out with this record in 94, which Tool had their Opiate EP in 92, and really not their first major record until 96 when they came out with Anima. So it makes sense for the record. However, they're nothing like Tool, but similar to Tool. Unlike Tool, Acid Bath experiments with so many different genres of metal, it's crazy. From the swampy, doomy sludge vibes that you get in The Blue and Tranquilized, that also give me that aggressive thrash metal vibe that you hear in like Sodom and Creator. You also get death metal meets hardcore punk vibes with Cheap Vodka and Jezebel. Lyrically, for both of those songs too, I get the kind of like 80s gore kind of lyrics that we hear with Cannibal Corpse's music, especially with their guitar sound. Like a lot of their guitar riffs and just the grit was very swampy, very southern, kind of twangy, but also had the essence of like old school Morbid Angel vibes with it. It was such a trippy record. The best gem of all for this record were definitely the acoustic ballads. This was something I was not expecting with this record, but it's beautiful. Scream of the Butterfly and The Bones of Baby Dolls reflect the same kind of acoustic, emotional vibes that we hear within Opeth. You've got layered acoustic guitars, set the mood, and really add a nice break for your ears and just your emotions. It works perfectly, especially with where they're placed in the track list. You have Scream of the Butterflies as track number 6, and then The Bones of Baby Dolls as track number 13. Perfectly placed, so it's just sandwiched in between all of these like really hardcore songs, gory, death metal-y, southern doomy sludge sound. It's pleasant. And I love the transition of Scream of the Butterfly into Dr. Seuss is Dead, which lyrically, again, it reminds me of the disturbing nature of the lyrics in Cannibal Corpse's songs, Dying Fetus. I got some Infant Annihilator and Undeath as well. Dope Fiend featured a beautiful guitar solo. My only one complaint with that song is that the solo itself was really low in the mix, and I'm somebody who, when I hear a guitar solo, I love when the producers just wail it. Just crank it, girl. Don't be shy, okay? So it was a little low in the mix for me, and that's really the only kind of major guitar solo we get featured within a song, but it's still really good. It featured like gritty, twangy guitar riffs that I can only describe as a bayou sound, and that's exactly what I said in my reaction. Just straight southern Louisiana bayou southern twang, but in the best way. And I noticed that southern twang before I even realized they were from Louisiana, which was a really pleasant surprise. So it's just interesting. Like I've said, it's the most interesting, funkiest, beautiful record. It doesn't know what it wants to be, but it's a really great thing. I like it. So following that, God Machine had a nice fade-in interlude, which I really liked, and I wish that they had featured that a little bit more on the album, but I don't think that overall like affects it at all. It was a great form of experimentation. Tubaboo Kumi and God Machine definitely had the sound of old school Morbid Angel, old school Cannibal Corpse, death metal, with the Mortician's Flame and What Color Is Death. Took on more of the 90s kind of Pearl Jam, alternative rock sort of sound. Grunge meets metal meets punk meets Tool-esque. All around, the most disappointing part of this record was the ending. Cassie Eats Cockroaches should not have been the ending of this record, and it was the most disappointing thing, because if they had just swapped Cassie Eats Cockroaches with the Bones of Baby Dolls, it would have basically been a perfect record. I don't think that Cassie Eats Cockroaches is a bad song. I think on its own, it's a pretty good song if you like really gory, kind of tasteless lyrics. I think it would have just been better if it was placed after Jezebel or after Dr. Seuss is Dead. Like, it's that type of vibe. The Bones of Baby Dolls, though, like I said, is an acoustic ballad, and they started out with the acoustic guitar, and they end it with these nice, beautiful, clean vocals after the lead singer had a filter over his voice for the entire time. So it was such a nice resolve to have his clean vocals. Then the song fades, and it should have just ended right there. But they end it with Cassie Eats Cockroaches, which makes the song itself feel extremely distasteful, in my opinion. It doesn't work. It leaves the record off on a really bad cliffhanger. Like, it was really lame, and it just felt really confusing. And honestly, it made me not like the song Cassie Eats Cockroaches, which is why I say I think it's distasteful, and it's not my thing. I don't like it because the lyrics are too raunchy for me. I feel like I would like it more if it was placed somewhere else in the record, but it just ruined where it was placed. It got ruined for me. Unfinished Cliffhanger, I didn't enjoy it, but The Bones of Baby Dolls is beautiful. That should have been the ending. And honestly, I said it in my reaction too, they should have had what's the song? Scream of the Butterfly as track number 7, because it's the perfect halfway point. They could have swapped it with Dr. Seuss is Dead and then had Scream of the Butterfly, and then they could have put, Cassie Eats Cockroaches, and then had a bunch of other hardcore songs, end with The Bones of Baby Dolls, because it's track number 14. It's just perfect. That's a really tedious thing, but overall the album is really good. Just the ending was very lackluster. Whether Cassie Eats Cockroaches was intentionally put at the end there just to kind of throw listeners off, that's up for debate. I feel like that could be a thing, but I also am of the belief that, you know, end a song on a fader. You all know me. If you watched my Undeath reaction, you know how I feel about songs that fade. So that's all I'm really going to say. I give this record a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's absolutely worth your time. It's worth your listen. If you have not listened to this record, go Amazon, girl. Amazon Music. You get 4 months for free. This is not a sponsor either. I had to do this. I had to do this for this reaction, okay? But I signed up for 4 months free of Amazon Music just so I could freaking listen to this record. It's worth it. You can cancel immediately and just listen to it, okay? Because you can't find this record anywhere else unless you buy it, you know, for streaming or whatever. This record is the most unique thing I've had on the channel. There's no specific genre that Acid Bath conforms to or that they are. I don't believe that they're a sludge metal band. They're way more than just sludge. They're not even just a doom metal band. They're everything in between. The only like genres they really didn't touch were like extreme grindcore and like melodic anything. They weren't melodic death metal. There weren't, you know, metalcore or deathcore really. They were a lot of like hardcore, punk, 90s grunge, alternative metal like Tool, classic death metal, classic thrash metal, a little bit of heavy metal vibes. It is just totally worth your listen. So that's going to be my review on When the Kite String Pops. Please let me know down below in the comments what you thought of this record. If you saw my reaction video, let me know what you thought about that. If you like these album review style videos, let me know that too, because I like to bring these types of videos to the channel. So let me know if you enjoy them. And yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, no pressure at all, but if you want to see this full reaction, it is on my Patreon. I did put one song in for tier 1 at $2, so even if you just want to do that, you can watch it. But hopefully, you know, this review is satisfying enough for you. Totally an unexpected album for me. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please feel free to do so. I post weekly videos documenting my metal journey as a brand new metalhead. I also have a Discord, the Mosh Pit. There's an invite link down below in my description, as well as my P.O. box if you want to send something to be featured in one of my metal unboxing videos. And yeah, take care, you guys. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.